Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. This channel, Avid Science, is all about trying to learn various concepts related to science by practicing a lot of questions. In this video, we are going to solve this question on Leetcode regarding market analysis part 3. The difficulty level of this question is medium, and I am going to share the SQL schema in the description box below. Okay, the question reads, we are given a table called users with 3 different columns, seller ID, join date, and favorite brand. Seller ID being the column with unique values for this table. We are also given a second table called items with 2 different columns, item ID and item brand, item ID being the column of unique values for this table, and also a third table called orders with 4 different columns, order ID, order date, item ID and seller ID, order ID being the column with unique values, item ID and seller ID are the foreign keys. This table contains order ID, order date, item ID and seller ID. We are asked to write a solution to find the top seller who had sold the highest number of unique items with a different brand than their favorite brand. If there are multiple sellers with the same highest count, return all of them. Return the result table ordered by seller ID in ascending order. Let's go through this example. So where here we have 3 different sellers, seller ID 1, 2 and 3, these being their favorite brands. Then we have several 5 different orders and various items. So if we look at this, right? So in the orders table, we have only 2 sellers, seller ID 2 and 3. Seller ID 2 has sold 3 different orders, order ID 1, 4 and 5. The items sold are 4, 1 and 4. Similarly for 3, there are 2 orders, order ID 2 and 3, where the items 2 and 3 are sold. So what we need is for seller ID 2, what is the favorite brand? Favorite brand is Samsung and Samsung is item ID 1. So if we look at seller ID 2, one order has item ID equal to 4, which is not their favorite, so we will count this. Then if we look at this order ID 4, the item sold is 1, which is Samsung. So we are not going to count this. However, in this particular order ID 5, there is again a sale of item ID 4 Samsung. So since the question asks us to return unique number, so seller ID 2 has unique sale of one item that is not their favorite brand. Similarly, if we look at seller ID 3, item IDs 2 and 3, item IDs 2 and 3 are Lenovo and LG. However, LG is their favorite. So the only unique sale that is not their favorite brand is Lenovo. So both 2 and 3 have sold one number of unique items, and that is also the highest. So therefore, both of them should be in the output. So to solve this question, what we need is, since in the orders table we have the item ID and seller ID, however, we need the favorite brand column from the users table and we need the item brand column from the items table so that we can say whether the sale was of a favorite brand or not. So what should we do is, let's merge this into a certain single table. So what we are going to do is, from orders, let us alias this as O. Let's perform a left join of the users table aliased as U, using the common column between them is seller ID. So using seller ID, and then let's also join the items table using aliased as I, using the column item ID, which is common in both of them. And then let us keep all the columns from the orders table. So O dot star. From the users table, we are only concerned about the favorite brand column. So U dot favorite brand. And in the items table, we only need the item brand. So I dot item brand. Okay, let me go ahead and run this and let's see what do we get in our output. So now if we look at our output, this is what it looks like. Let me just drag it to the left so that it's easier for us to visualize. So now we have all the orders, their order date, item ID, seller ID, what was the favorite brand of a particular seller, and the brand which was sold, right? So basically item brand of this item ID. Now, if we look at the question, it says that we are only concerned about items that are a different brand than their favorite brand. So basically, we can filter this and say that keep only those rows where your item brand is not equal to favorite brand. That is what we need in our output. So let us do this. So keep only those rows where I dot item brand is not equal to U dot favorite brand. Let me go ahead and run this and let's see what do we get. So now we are only left with those rows where we have the item brand that is not equal to the favorite brand. Then what we need is we can group by the seller ID and count the different number of items that are sold, because in our question what we need is we need the number of unique items, right, for every particular seller. So let us do that. If I go ahead and do this, let us group by the seller ID, and seller ID comes from orders table. So O dot seller ID. Let me return O dot seller ID and count the items. So O dot item ID, and they should be unique. So count distinct ones, and let's alias this as number of items, because that is what is required in our output. If we look at our output, let me just drag it to the right, and if we look at here, number of items. Okay, now let me go ahead and run this. Let's see what do we get in our output. So even though this says accepted, this is not yet complete. So basically what we have right now is for every seller ID, how many unique items have been sold. Now the question says that we need the top seller. That means we need to order by number of items in decreasing order and try to perform a rank. And ranking should be done using dense rank. Why? Because if there are multiple sellers with the same highest count, return all of them. So for if there are ties, we need to have all of those rows returned. So to solve this, let's try to do this. Let's store this entire thing in a common table expression. So with CTES, this entire thing goes into parentheses, and then what we are doing is from this common table expression, let us return both the columns and then use dense rank to perform a ranking. Dense rank over and order by number of items in descending order. Let's alias this as rank. Let me go ahead and run this. Let's see what do we get in our output. So now if we look at this, what we have here is rank and seller IDs, number of items. Now what we need is we only need the highest, right? The top seller. That means rank is equal to 1 is required. So save this entire thing in another common table expression. So CTE2 as this entire thing again goes into parentheses. And what we are going to do is from this common table expression 2, keep only those rows where rank is equal to 1. Let us return the seller ID and the number of items, and it should also be ordered by seller ID in ascending order. So order by seller ID in ascending order. Let me go ahead and run this. Let's see what do we get in our output. So now if you look at this, this is accepted. This is complete solution. Our output looks exactly like expected output. Let me go ahead and submit to pass all the test cases. So yeah, this is accepted and this is how to do it. So to solve this question, what we basically had to do was, firstly, we merged all the information at one place. We got only the columns that we want from the users table and the items table. And then we made sure that item brand is not equal to the favorite brand, because that is what the question is asking us. Then we grouped by the seller ID to get the number of unique items being sold by each seller. We stored that entire thing in a common table expression and then performed a ranking based on those number of items in descending order, because we only need the top seller. And once we had the ranking, we kept only those rows where rank is equal to 1, that is highest seller, and ordered by seller ID in ascending order. So yeah, this is how we do it. Let me know if there's a better, more efficient solution to solve this question. Let the solution be in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.